Good afternoon and welcome to what will be a fun-filled fall of Friday night football. Jeff Doan and Mike was down. Mike, it's been
How you
since
doing, my
May,
friend?
which seems like an eternity.
we haven't been together on TV since May, and that is an eternity for us. But I tell you what, Jeff, poof, here it is. High school football's right around the corner.
Well, before we get started, I would be remiss in not welcoming the newest member of the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame, Coach. We talked about it in the spring at a Central game,
Yep.
and we had Lee Thompson behind us. Obviously, it had to be a secret, and I kept saying, we got to find a way to get Coach in there. We got to find a way to get Coach Quiz in there. He thought, somebody told him he's spilling the beans. So when Bay County TV came for that lovely ceremony, the expression on your face was priceless.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was a total surprise, and I am very humbled and honored to be in the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame, President Award winner with a gentleman like yourself who won in 2017, 18 if I'm not right, 18, and Mike Vincent and Dinah Russell and OJ Cunningham. It is a humbling experience. I'm very honored and looking forward to the banquet in November. So I appreciate all the support from everybody.
Well, it was long overdue, but they sometimes save the best for last. So
Thank you.
What we're going to do over the next couple of days is we're going to go to all 7 instead of 6.
Yep.
Obviously, Bay
Yep.
City Academy is in
Yep.
that mix now. Talk to the coaches. I think great excitement abounds for this 26 season.
It really is, Jeff. You know, the teams, we got that extra team. We've got the old guard, the Centrals and the Westerns, the Garbers, the Glens, and Pinconnies, but we got that new Bay City Academy team. Got great looking helmets, great looking uniforms, and their new head coach is Rob McDaniel. Got some varsity experience, won a state championship in 8-man football with the Peck Pirates. So I think they got a good one over there. He's excited about coming to Bay City, and they got good things going on over at Bay City Academy.
Well, you got Coach LeGros also from Pinconning, just formerly of the John Glenn Bobcat program, came from Croslex, did a really nice job. And then another really exciting start to the fall would be Mark Jarsfer at Bay City Central.
Yeah, I've been watching him on Facebook and social media, Jeff. He has got those kids and under the 6th through 8th graders and the younger kids really excited about football. He had a great off season. As you well know, you saw a lot of kids at 6 o'clock in the morning in the weight room. So I'm really excited to see these 3 new coaches and what they're going to do in these programs.
They're all anxious to put their imprint on that program and lay that base foundation for success in the future.
Well, and Mark won a state championship up in Gladwin. You know, LeGros was coming from John Glenn, which is a great program, and then Rob coming to BCA with a state championship. So we've got 3 really good new head football coaches in Bay County.
Well, then you talk about the long in the tooth guys like Coach Gust and Coach Willards at All Saints and Western.
Yeah, and they've
Tickling 10 years.
Tickling 10 years. They've been around a long time. Eric is really excited. He's got 11 seniors coming back this year, so that's going to be a big plus for the All Saints. Coach Willards out at Bay City Western, you know all about him being a handy guy. He's just Mr. Positive, Mr. Energy. They'll put a hat on you out there. And Dave Matthews at Garber's excited about his chances this year over with the Duke. So I think we're going to see a really, really good year of football here in Bay County.
Well, when you get to this point every year, you talk about the conditioning in the off season, the weightlifting, the speed training. All of that really doesn't bear a whole lot of fruit until you see them with the pads on to find out how that really has come together.
And they all worked hard. Everyone we talked to said they had great off seasons. They were all in the weight room early, getting the weights in, and they had a great off season. But you're right, all the fruits of their labor is going to pay off. And come August 27th, the first night, the coaches will be able to see what's going to happen with all that training during the off season.
Well, the next few days ought to be fun and excited, and that will about put the wraps on our Covenant Healthcare sponsored pregame show for our fall preview of football. Back with 7 great interviews in just a moment on BCTV.
Your heart drives us to be on the forefront of next-generation heart treatments, from minimally invasive valve replacements to advanced procedures for AFib. Choose the most preferred health system for heart. Choose Covenant Healthcare.
Hi again, everybody, and welcome back to Bay County TV. My name's Mike Wisdella, and the calendar has turned to August, and you know what that means. Football for high school and college and the pros is right around the corner, and we're going to start our preseason kickoff show. We're out here at Essexville Garber with the head football coach of the Essexville Garber Dukes, Dave Matthews. And Dave, welcome to the show, and great to see you again, and welcome to August.
Thanks for having me. Excited for fall to roll around.
Let's talk a little bit about the off season. How the off season go for the Garber Dukes this year? I know you and I talked. We're working out at the Y together, so you're feeling pretty good about this year's team in the off season.
Yes, well, the night of the Owasso game, we lost, and I pulled some of our returning players in that night, and they said we need to change some things. To be honest, we didn't have a very good off season the year before. So what we did, we gave the players a week off, and then we started doing 6:30 a.m. lifts. So we have been lifting since November from 6:30 in the morning till 7:45 since November, and our numbers have went way up. We just, with all the different sports going on and work and all this stuff, we were having a hard time getting big numbers after school. So we, made an adjustment, and it was for the better. The kids liked it, and I'm a big advocate that kids need to lift year round. And some of our numbers, your core lifts, your squat, your bench, power cleans have went way up from previous years, so we're excited about that.
So it was a great off season, and one of the things about getting those kids up early, they get up early and they can get to class, and then at the end of the day when there's no lifting going on, so that's a good thing. Like John Temple used to do or John Chaney at Temple used to do, get them up early.
Yes, and the kids, they were a little, maybe whining and groaning about a little bit, but they've all told me that they're a little bit more alert and attentive, at that first and second period block, throughout the school day. So I'm a big believer in, getting their tails out of bed and getting after it in the morning.
Very good.
So
let's talk about this season. Looking at your schedule, Coach, typical schedule for the Garber Dukes, typical tough Tri-Valley schedule: Frankenmuth, Freeland, Swan Valley, Hemlock, Bay City, John Glenn. Tough schedule, but I know the Garber Dukes will always come out and play hard.
Yeah, you can't whine about it. It's not going to do anything. Definitely a tough schedule. I think we're probably one of the best Division 5s, if not the best Division 5 states or conferences in the state. And you just got to embrace it, and you got to stay healthy, and you got to get through it.
Let's talk a little bit about what's behind us. As you can see, everybody behind us just found out walking over here, first time I saw it. Got yourself a new scoreboard here at Ed Harvey Field.
Well, like I said, we're doing stuff the right way. We're kind of investing like we need to, especially in athletics around here. We got a brand new scoreboard. We're hoping our bond passes tomorrow night. We got a brand new weight room. Last year, $90,000 weight room. So things are going in a positive direction, but we're very excited about the football scoreboard. Baseball's got a new one as well. And then hopefully the bond passes tomorrow night, and we can do some other things.
Yeah, and that weight room, I was going to mention that. I'm glad that you did. That weight room has really grown and got bigger, and your athletic director, Dave Schwartz, who was kind of leading that, along with the coaching staff, kind of scoot in here a little bit, Coach, with all the coaches and stuff. So that is turned out to be a really nice thing for all the sports, not just for football.
Yeah, it's all kids in all sports, they need to lift and train year round. You can go out and play basketball or play football or anything, but it doesn't really matter unless you're a top level athlete. You got to try to become a better athlete first before you're better at the individual sport. But that weight room needed, it needed a remod. I don't think it had been remodeled since I was in high school in 2002. So it was a long time coming, but it's a great facility in there. We've got, we got indoor turf in there. We bought a $4,000 sled for our football players. That's another one the kids kind of whine and groan about it, but we're trying to run the ball around here and be a little bit more physical. So we're hoping that kind of helps us get in that direction.
Sounds like things are going really good here, Coach. Let's talk about the numbers at the varsity level. How's the numbers look this year, and what are your thoughts on that?
Well, like I said, when I got the job in the winter of 24, my first year in 2023, I was a wide receiver and defensive back coach for Coach Quillard, and they had to forfeit their last 4 JV games. So we're kind of towards the end of that, weeding out some of those low number classes. For the program, I think we're going to be pushing 50, which a couple of years ago we only had, I think we were in the 30s when the season ended. So the first kind of step in a rebuild is getting participation, getting bodies and numbers out. And then you got to get kids buying into your culture and lifting you around and doing all the things you need to be successful. So, like I said, we're going to have close to 50, I think, in the program. Varsity will be, 20, 21. There might be a couple kids we could bring up from the JV, but, I like kind of trying to spread the wealth a little bit. And if a kid can, if we can afford not to bring a kid up, I'd prefer to leave them down.
Well, I'll tell you what, Coach, it's an exciting time of year. We're 1 week away from the start. Official start is, if I'm not mistaken, August 10th. So we see the bands on the field getting ready. I know that the Essexville Garber Dukes will be ready for 2026.
Yep, we're excited. Week 1 at Hemlock, and it should be a competitive game. And then we got our friends from the other side of the river week 2.
Yeah, we'll be at that game over at John Glenn, and we also have the Dukes playing the Carroll team later in the season. But Coach, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. We know how busy this time of year is for you. Mm-hmm. We appreciate it, folks.
For over 75 years, Frank's Great Outdoors has served as the Great Lakes Bay region's premier hunting, fishing, and outdoor shopping destination. What started in the mid-1940s as a roadside bait and tackle stand has now blossomed into a 30,000 square foot outdoorsman's dream shopping location. Stop by the store located at 1212 North Huron Road in Linwood, or shop online at franksgreatoutdoors.com to find everything you need to get your next outdoor adventure started.
It's a pleasure to have John Glenn head coach John Horton. Coach, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We talked before we went on the air. We're already in year 6 here at John Glenn. How is that possible?
I know it's flown by, and it's been so much work. It's kind of like you kind of put your head down and you go to work, and you wake up and you're ending year 5 and going into 6. It's crazy. Yeah.
Well, when we talked, really year 1 was tough to get going because you didn't come until May, so you really lost a lot of the off-season preparation that you need coming into the season.
Yeah, and we're so built on the weight room, like just our philosophy, our scheme. We're not twisting and slanting. We're standing in a spot and beating people up, and like, so to get to that level in the weight room has really taken about 5 years. And you've seen an increase in what we do defensively. Every year we're better and better and better, and that's kind of tied to the weight room and having kids now in the program and understanding the expectation of the off season in the weight room. So,
talking about the importance of your weight room, how blessed are you out here to not just have a new huge weight room, but that ancillary gym as well to do speed training in the off season as well as strength?
100%. Like, we've got an incredible strength coach, Zach Goodman, who played for me at Swan Valley, and I was lucky enough to get him away from them and get him here with me. And what he does in the weight room is it's beyond belief. I was a weight room guy. I loved the weight room. I never, ever saw myself giving up the weight room, but he came to help. He started tweaking things, and we were getting better and better, and his ideas were so great. I just said, it's time, man. Like, you've passed me. So he's taken it over, and to give him that type of facility, they allowed us to kind of design it in the way we wanted it designed, because he runs the strength classes. So we've got that garage door we can open up, and we can sprint out, and we have a little kind of runway for our runners, so we can run 20s, 30s indoors in the wintertime. So, and then you've got the extra gym, and people don't understand, like, at a school this size, you kind of like, when you go out to the voters, it's like, why do we need this extra gym? And it's like, well, our girls are practicing at 9 o'clock at night for basketball, and that whole time it's tied up. That means no off-season activities are going on in one gym. and that mezz, you know, where we had our weight room was like a dungeon up there. So to have that extra space, people don't understand how grateful we are for the community for passing that bond, and just how much our kids use it. And we never have to fight for space anymore, and we're constantly working, so it's a blessing.
Well, the buy-in to the weight room is what's huge in the off-season, and I know there's always challenges with the outside distractions of work and family and girlfriends and what have you, but you are blessed this year with a lot of dudes coming back, and should be an exciting year.
Yeah, it's very exciting, and what's been great for us is with those weight room classes, we can get a lot of our high school guys in through during the day. So we've been able, this last year especially, to focus on the middle school for after school. So we've got 75 or so middle school kids lifting after school. Our varsity and JV guys will come in and help them lift, and you kind of build that community in the weight room. We have Wednesdays off here, and half the time our weight room's still full, and it's not guys even working out, they're just kind of hanging out because they like the culture in there. And that's what gets me excited, because that's what was my getaway when I was a kid. The weight room was kind of my safe place. So to be able to give that back and kind of roll it into our program is something I'm really proud of.
Now, year 6 here, one of the things John Glenn has always been able to be excited about is the stability in the coaching program. I mean, most schools go through somebody every 2, 3, 4 years. I mean, you look back here in the last 40 years and there's only been 5 or less coaches manning the sidelines.
Yeah. No, and I got to meet Coach Loop for the first time last season, and he's been around a couple times in the off season, and it's such a blessing to meet a guy like that who built this program, and we're so like-minded about the weight room, about physicality. He came out to one of our practices and he said, "I'm glad to see you're still hitting." So like, to be able to stay at a place as long as he has, that gives me somebody to look to and kind of talk about longevity, about, you know, the love that people still have for him when he walks in here. It's pretty incredible. And then to come, Coach Miller was super helpful with me. So to have that kind of lineage here, and to survive 6 years, and the grace they gave me in the first few years where we really struggled. We didn't, you could see our numbers going up and our participation going up, but on the field, we weren't very good. So the fact that they gave me that grace to kind of build, and now, you know, 2, 5, and 4 years, and now hopefully we take that next step this year.
Well, when you talk about those previous coaches and their love of sharing their knowledge, tells you the passion they have and the football tradition there is out here at John Glenn.
Oh yeah, I still get texts from Coach Miller, like, you know, letting me know what he sees. He's still on our huddle, he watches it. Coach Luke comes in and gives you encouragement, so it's pretty special.
Well, year 6 after 2 5 and 4s, you're ready to take that next step up, and we wish you nothing but continued success and longevity out here at John Glenn.
Thank you very much.
We'll be back in just a minute as our preseason special continues on Bay County TV. So your car is getting towed and you're not sure where to take it? Try Village Towing and Auto Repair. Our expert mechanics are here to help assist you with all your repair needs. We have over 30 years of experience with motor vehicles, so you know you're getting the best work that you can find. Stop by the shop at 2377 South Huron Road in Cuckolin, or give us a call at 989-684-9607. Good afternoon and welcome back to our 2026 Fall Football Preview. I'm here with Coach Chris Willits from Bay City Western. Welcome, Coach. Isn't this an exciting time of year?
Thanks for having me, Jeff Doan. You're a staple in Bay City, so I appreciate everything that you do.
We are in a situation now where 2-a-days start next week. You kind of have that off-season grind where the excitement builds up. Talk a little bit about what we're going to be excited about here for 2026.
Out here at Western, boy, I think high school football is high school football. You know, whatever team we have is still exciting for high school boys to go out and battle in front of their family and friends in the community. Our conference is hard. It's a tough conference. You know, we got some dudes, but I feel like we're almost going to be the underdog in every game we play. Even against Central, right? With the new coaching staff over at Central and all the good stuff that Central gets. Poor Western us out here is stuck without a new weight room and grass field. Anyways, but I think for us, we are probably going to be the underdog, and we're going to relish that. And you come out and watch us play, I think you're going to be in for a good entertainment. You're going to see boys battle, and hopefully we can put some W's out there.
Seems like yesterday you were hired. Now you're tickling a decade being out here at Western. Talk about your staff and the consistency and how that helps in your transition from year to year.
Well, I would say, first of all, I'm not tickling a decade. I'm almost 60, and you know, when you do COVID, right? Because we did the COVID, and you do public education for 10 years with the highs and the lows. It's hard work. So I want to give a shout out to all those high school coaches that are out there, whether you're in year 1, or this will be year 9 for me, because I came here in 18. It's hard work, but it's blessing. It's a blessing, right? A lot of my coaches, I mean, you go through 9 years and you have coaches that come and go. I've had a couple ones that stick around that have done an awesome job. Goodness, some names. I would say Nick Barton was with me at the beginning. Took a couple of years, did some head coaching, came back, so Nick's with me. Tim McDonald has been here for 100 years, and he's coming back for his 101st season.
Awesome.
Coaching freshmen, even though he retired from the school district as a teacher. Charlie Lalone, who grew up on Handy Drive, 2 houses down from me, who has been up with the varsity. This is his 2nd year. Charlie played at Central back in the day. Mark Wagner has been my DC for the last 5 years, and he's a Western graduate. So I got some new guys, I got some older guys. I got about 15. So I can't name them all by name, and if I tried to, I'd forget a couple
one.
and get somebody mad at me. So, you know, to make a commitment as an assistant coach, whether you're getting paid a salary or you're volunteering, again, you know, hats off to all the assistant coaches, especially mine.
Even at the intermediate level, you've got some great quality coaches there instructing the kids. So when they get to high school, they're familiar with the terminology, the technique. You're fine-tuning that talent in high school.
Again, middle school coaches is probably harder than high school coaches, right? You're dealing with middle school kids. Tom Sullivan, God bless him, did that at Handy for how many years, right? Mm-hmm. We're blessed to have Greg Hansen, one of the famous Hansens from, I think he married an O'Shea, so
Yeah.
Hansen O'Sheas are famous in Bay City lore.
Thomas Lincoln Handy.
Yes, there you go. And so Greg's coaching middle school. Brett Smith is a Saginaw Arthur Hill grad. But we've also had, I mean, when I first got here, Craig Rivette, God bless his soul, was my middle school coach. And Joe Willie, who was a Bay City Western guy. So it's the same thing where, you know, you're doing the best you can to try to make the units cohesive, and what they're doing at the middle school, what we're doing at the high school. And some years you do it better than others just because you have new guys. So I feel good betting. The best thing I feel about the middle school guys is they're getting after the kids. And getting after the kids is a big deal these days.
Well, you got to be in a situation where those kids learn the discipline, they learn the camaraderie, and they learn the game. And that's a tough trifecta for a lot of intermediate school kids to grasp.
Well, I mean, just the effort. I mean, the world that we're living in right now, you know, there's so many summer baseball teams that don't practice. They just play games. Mm-hmm. So many AAU basketball teams, all they do is play games. They don't practice. If you're going to be on a lacrosse team during the summer, you don't practice. You play games. So for football to dare say we're going to practice and practice all summer, you know, that's hard for our typical kid. Across the country, you lose kids because a lot of them just say, I don't want to do all that. I just want to have fun. You know, so to get a middle schooler to love football and all the strategy and all the work and the camaraderie is big. And then for them to hang on to it in high school, because then in high school, they get cars and they get jobs and they get girlfriends and they get all these other things.
Distractions.
That are and football is no longer a priority. So we're almost right now, we're taking it year by year, and whatever group of kids we got, we're going to make them men. We're going to give them an adventurous spirit, a courageous spirit. We're going to teach them to be strong and committed to something bigger than them. And if that's what we get 1 year out of them, then it's going to be a great year for them.
Well, and when you look at these kids and the camaraderie, that's got to be part of the blessing for you as a coach to see these kids come together and not just play for themselves, but for each other, for the coaching staff, for the school.
You know, we've been doing this for a long time, and team has always been hard. Whether it was George Perlis trying to create team, Bo Schembechler, Bear Bryant, getting guys to say no to themselves to a greater good, right? That's Christ-like, and that's hard, especially in a world of technology where kids can do their own thing all the time. So it's a great sport for a lot of different reasons, and one of them is being on a team with other guys.
We're 1 week away from your two-a-day starting. It's always exciting. There's always some unknowns to the season. You get a great off season with your workouts, but boy, until they put the pads on, that's when you really see where all the off season work has gone.
And Jeff, it's harder and harder and harder with off seasons. Again, and I'm a football guy, right? I mean, I grew up playing for Ron Hughes, and then I went to Michigan State and lived in Cincinnati for years, right? And coached with Bob Crable in Cincinnati and a lot of dudes. And for me, football is 365 days out of the year. And for a lot of my kids at Western, or just the typical kid, the off season is, for many of them now, the off season, which is they do their own thing. So we've been doing the best we can. We probably have 40, 50 kids, right? But really it's go time August 10th. And if kids have been a part of the culture in the off season, then awesome, because they're that much ahead of everybody else. But I'm going to have a significant group of kids that will show up August 10th, and they've been in during the summer maybe 5 times. And our hope and our prayer is that they've been doing busy stuff, they've been working on their own, but come August 10th, now it's time, you know, that level of commitment, that level of excellence, that level of effort has to be now, because we play scrimmage against Frankenmuth in 9 days. So if you ain't ready to play football, good luck sitting on the bench. It's going to be hard.
Yep, somebody ahead of you that's outworked you is going to make it happen. Well, Coach, we are always excited to spend some time with you. We wish you nothing but continued success out here at Western as you look forward to that second decade of coaching out here.
Thank you.
We'll be back in just a minute as our preseason special continues on BCTV.
Are you ready to gear up and stand out? Look no further than Sandlot, your local source for team uniforms, sports spiritwear, and more. Gear up with confidence. We've got your team covered from head to toe, ensuring you stand out on and off the field. And that's not all. Unleash your team spirit with custom spiritwear that roars success. Wait, it gets better. Introducing our free fundraising online stores. Effortlessly raise funds for your team while showing your pride. Customize your fundraising to reach your team goals. Get started online at sandlotsports301.com or at any one of our 3 convenient Great Lakes Bay locations. Sandlot, where quality, community, and apparel collide. Your team, our passion.
It is my pleasure to have the head coach of the Pinconning Area Spartans, Mike LeGros. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you.
This is a pretty exciting opportunity for you, kind of coming full circle from starting as a student and then a coach at Freeland to swinging back into the area.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity for me. Like I said, I started at Freeland as a player, but then I went to college and played, and then came back and got my starting coaching. From there, kind of bounced around from school to school, kind of figuring out where I wanted to be. Ended up at Hemlock for 5 years, where I learned the offense that I run now from Adam Clark. And then looked for my first head coaching job, got one out in the Thumb in the community of Croswell, Lexington. If you don't know where that is, that's about a half hour north of Port Huron. Great community, we had a lot of success there in football. We went 23-7 in the 3 years I was there. We won a league and district championship. My teams are always ranked top 10 to top 5 in the state in Division 4 while I was there. And we were fortunate enough to send about 9 kids to college. From there, kind of wanted to start looking to come back home. Had a kid, was married, mother retired for medical reasons. My father-in-law, like I said, was older, like in his upper 80s, so we decided to come home. Got a job at John Glenn, where I helped revitalize the offense with its passing game. Broke a couple school records while we were there. Started getting the itch for being a head coach again. And found this opportunity at Pinconning. It fit a lot of my boxes. Small town, really loved that small town atmosphere, being from Freeland, coaching out in the Thumb. So that was something I really missed, but it was also an opportunity to help rebuild a program in the way that I wanted to do it.
You run the RPO, and obviously the RPO, especially when you got to Croslex, you're running against a 3-yard in a cloud of dust type offense. So catching those people, at least initially, off guard, and then what you were able to bring to John Glenn really diversified that offense, and in 2 years you have really brought that program up to new heights.
Yeah, but it helps to have the athletes. I thought, looking around, when I looked at Pinconning originally, I was like, well, what do they have for athletes? Well, then I saw their baseball team went to a couple of semifinals. Basketball team just had its best season since the 60s. They had a 20 win season the one year before that. So there's athletes in Pinconning. It's just, how do we get them excited about football? And that's been the fun part of my job, is to try to figure that out.
When you get here, trying to initially lay the groundwork with these kids to get them excited, showing what you have to offer differently, I really think should be refreshing and hopefully very good for the kids to see there's something new and different and exciting. I want to be part of the foundation.
Well, I've already had a handful of kids that haven't played decided they wanted to come out, and they've come to a couple 7-on-7s. They got to see what it was like, and they realized, like, oh, this is very much different than what it was the year before, and I think it allows them to show off their athletic skill set a little bit differently. And plus, I said it's an offense you're going to see on Friday or Saturdays and Sundays typically, because of what we run and how we run it. So it's going to catch some people by surprise, but it's kids tend to be a little more excited about it.
Well, and when you run an RPO offense, your quarterback is obviously the key figure, being able to make that, what we talked about before, not just the first level read, but the second and third level.
Yes, exactly. And we've been working on it, especially at 7-on-7s and stuff like that, just like, coming down, like I was joking, my quarterback, Zach Schultz, I asked him last year, like, how many passes did you throw last year? And he goes, oh, maybe 12. And I joke with him, I was like, well, you're going to throw that probably in the first quarter, just to kind of get things, like kind of the groundwork of what we're going to do. And he's kind of really jumped with the whole reading of the defense, like, is it too high or one high? Who's my read on this? If I call this play, what's the read if it's one high? What's the read if it's too high? And really has taken off with it. The kids are also learning how to sit in zones and do things like that. So it's refreshing to see how quickly they've kind of attached to it.
Well, and when you come into a situation where you have a quarterback with the ability to pass, the naysayers will go, hey, when you throw a pass, 2 of the 3 things are negative. I say the one positive outweighs the 2 negatives, because most of the defenses you're facing are not proficient in seeing that many passes.
Right, exactly. When I was out, I compared the Jack Pine Conference very closely to the Blue Water Conference that I was at in Croslex, where everyone that we went against ran either T, wing T, power I, was primarily a run-first offense. And when you had teams like Almont going to state championships, everyone's trying to stop Almont's wing T offense. So they're running 4-4s, cover 3, and it really allows us, if you're going to put 8 guys in the box, 7 guys in the box, well, it's going to allow us to have numbers in the passing game. So we have a lot of pre-snap reads based off what box looks like, what where the strength of their defense is, and really attacking those. I think I could do the same thing here in the Jack Pine Conference, because it's very, very similar. A lot of teams run the T, a lot of teams run power I, and we're able to attack what they give us in different ways.
I think one word that's going to sum up what you're trying to do here is foundation. You're
Yes.
trying to build that foundation and selling the kids on the fact that they can be part of the positive change moving forward has got to be inspiring.
Yeah, it's actually, I use my own story for that. When I was playing at Freeland, Coach Townsend's first year as a head football coach was my first year as a varsity player, and we went 1-8. And if you know the history of Freeland, they don't go.
They're 8-1.
Yeah, they're normally 8-1. And my second year, we started 1-3, and eventually turned it around and got to 5-4. And after I graduated, they haven't missed the playoffs since. They've been a state level powerhouse ever since, and I take great pride in being the foundation of what it is. Where I tell my kids here is like, you may not see the immediate success that you may think that you would like, but you're going to get a pride in setting the example, of setting the foundation. So when you come back in 5 to 10 years and you see how this thing is rolling, they're going to really take some pride in like knowing that I helped set the example, I helped set that foundation.
Small town football means everything, and this is a very supportive community.
Yes.
In the past, they've been able to put a lot of seats, fill a lot of seats here, and I really feel like what you have to offer is only going to make this a bigger and better thing here in Pinconning.
Yeah, the community's been great. I've gone a couple of the businesses. I've introduced myself to a bunch of people, and it's been, they've been really, really accepting. They're excited for what's coming. They're excited for a little bit of change. I'm hearing from the parents and like administration that they can't wait for football to start. And it's just now it's my job to get the boys in the right spot to be where they need to be and do what we need to do, and we can go from there.
Well, Coach, it has been an extreme pleasure. I am very excited about the possibilities. I know this town will embrace your actions as you move forward and lay the foundation for something bigger and better here in Pinconning.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All righty.
Go Spartans.
We'll be back as our preseason special continues right here on Bay County TV.
Founded in 1991, the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame is dedicated to celebrating and preserving the history of sports in Bay County. From individual awards to entire teams, we strive to induct the best of sportsmanship and outstanding achievement at the high school, collegiate, and professional levels. We also recognize our President Awards winner yearly, which honors an individual who gives their time to benefit the local sports community here in Bay County. As of 2025, the Hall of Fame has inducted 263 individuals, 70 teams, and has awarded $149,000 in scholarships to local student athletes. Join us in November for our annual induction banquet honoring our latest class of Hall of Fame inductees. Visit our website at baycountysportshof.com and like us on Facebook to keep up to date on all things Bay County Sports Hall of Fame.
I'm here with Bay City Central's new head football coach, Mark Jarsfer. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
We are going to start out this with a brief look back at where you've been and how you got to Bay City Central.
Yeah, so I graduated from Clare High School in 2007. I obviously played my whole career there, went to school there the entire time, and then as soon as that ended, I wanted and needed football to stay in my life. And so luckily for me at the time, Coach Luplo, Hall of Famer, was willing to take me on staff as a volunteer assistant for the freshman team. So I did that for 6 years, and then we had a few guys leave after that 6th year from the JV staff, and so from that point forward I kind of took on the head coaching role at the JV level. Did that for 6 years throughout my time at Clare, which made it a 12-year run there before moving on and taking my first head coaching job at Gladwin in 2019, and then I've been there kind of the last 7 years before taking over here at Bay City Central.
You started at Gladwin to a program that really was looking for signs of life in it, and after a couple of years, I think you did more than put a little life into that program.
Yeah. I mean, it was a program that was going through some hard times. I think the last 3 years before myself and that staff took over there, they had won 6 total games, so they're averaging about 2 a year. And then in 2019, we went 1-8 that year. year, but it was really a big building year for us, and you know, trying to set the culture and all of those types of things. We brought a bunch of young guys up, and then that next year we had to deal with all the COVID stuff and not having a full off season and those types of things. But I want to say we had like 8 sophomores up and a freshman or 2. We went 4-4 that year and had some signature wins with knocking off, you know, top 10 ranked Division II Dexter and some other really cool moments. And then, you know, after that year, going into 21, we knew the stage was kind of set at that point. It was going to be our 3rd year, our first full off season. A lot of guys that have been familiar with our offense and defensive schemes and had really built themselves up over the course of those 3 years in the weight room. And we went 9-0 that year, winning our first conference title in over 20 years. And then, you know, we beat Clare for the first time in 40 years, which was obviously special for me, being where I was from and getting a chance to, you know, beat my Hall of Fame head coach and all that stuff was special. But he got his redemption because they knocked us out in the first round of the playoffs, and we ended that year at 9-1. And then going into year 4, we still had pretty much everybody coming back, and we knew it could be a special year. And obviously that year we capped off a perfect 14-0 season with a state championship. And then over the last few years, you know, the last 3 or so years, we made another regional title game, qualified for the playoffs every year, won another conference title, and have really just kind of stabilized that program.
Now, recently you came here. Every year we have a preseason scrimmage before the season starts. Talk about that preseason scrimmage that was here and walking into the stadium and what your initial thoughts were.
Yeah, I had only ever, you know, really heard of Ingle Stadium up until that point. And, you know, my defensive coordinator, Cody Emiett, who's now the head coach at Gladwin, was on the Bay City staff for a couple years. And so he kept telling me, man, this stadium is awesome. Wait till we get to go down there and you get to see it. And it was everything that he built it up to be. You know, you walk in and we have, you know, the tower and the historic press box and the unbelievable bleachers, and it's just an iconic field. And then once you start researching, even on Google, like all the cool moments and things that have played out here, you know, all the way back to the concerts back in the day, and those sorts of things, it was really surreal to even come here for a scrimmage and get to see it in person. And I think it was just the other day, you know, I made a comment to one of my buddies. I'm like, I still feel like it hasn't hit me that, you know, on August 27th, they're going to be in Ingle Stadium coaching on the sidelines, and like it'll be my program at that point. And so certainly a big draw and getting me here, and still surreal to this moment.
Basically, almost to the day, you've been here 6 months. Timing on that was really incredible because very shortly after you got here, you found out about a brand new weight room that you got to help put in place the way you wanted it.
Yeah, and I mean, the administration has done a great job of trying to invest in athletics and get things turned around here, you know, and that was a big pitch. Or selling point in trying to, you know, decide whether or not I was going to take this job is like, okay, well, what is the administration doing athletically to support just athletics as a whole? And so, you know, I had asked to see kind of the plans for the weight room, and they knocked it out of the park. I mean, that space is absolutely unbelievable. I'm sure you've been in there and toured it, and you know, we've really put it to good use. But just we have so much space, and I love the fact that they kind of preserved the history and the brick, but then there's kind of like that new age feel with some of the painted areas and the modern feel as well. And our guys are very, very fortunate to have that set up, and like I said, we've been putting it to good use.
You put a program together, you started the kids lifting, you gave them an incentive for a first 50 t-shirt, and then you've built on that. Talk a little bit about how that program has gone and the influx of kids from Handy that you've incorporated into strength and conditioning.
Yeah, so the Friday before I started here, I had one of the assistant coaches drop in and just check and see what the weight room situation was like and the numbers were like, and there was one kid, and I was like, that's not good, like that's a problem, right? And because I truly believe that the foundation of any good athletic program is built built on kind of a weight room culture and a steady investment in the weight room. And so we kind of made it our mission to build up those numbers. I think the first day that I was in there with the guys, we had 22. We built it up to the mid-20s, and we said let's hit 30 by the end of week 1. Got to that 30, and then we set that goal of the first 50, and offered T-shirts to anybody who was there on that day that we got the first 50. And we said we wanted to hit that by spring break. We hit it, I think, 4 weeks early, and then kind of never looked back. We hovered right around those high 40s to mid upper 50s pretty much the rest of the winter and right into the summer.
Now with the Handy kids, I was blown away by the number of kids that you were able to pull from Handy through transportation. You get them back and forth after school, and those numbers have been through the roof as well.
Yeah, and we thought that it was really important, obviously, to start investing in our middle school as well, because that is our future, obviously. And so I wanted to make sure that we set up a weightlifting program for them 3 days a week, and that was after school. The high schoolers would lift before school, and so we pretty much made it exclusively for Handy kids. And the big thing was, like, obviously Handy is on the other side of the bridge, and it would be a long walk and all of those types of things. And so we set up the busing to where kids could get the rides over and take part in the lifting there, and I think that hit its peak at nearly 60 kids as well. And then once track hit, and we really encouraged guys to do track and not worry about the lifting at that point. We just wanted them to get an experience with the weight room and take part in it when they had the time to do it, but really preface being a multi-sport athlete on top of all. And so those numbers hovered from anywhere from high 30s to high 40s throughout the remainder of the school year.
Not going to get in depth into players, but I want to talk about 2 leaders, 2 great athletes, 2 incredible people, and that's Carter Bublitz and Paulino Perez, that are probably the top 2 leading candidates to lead your offense.
Yeah, and they've both done a tremendous job. Obviously, both of them are very good baseball players. I think Paulino was first team, all SVL, and then just this last week, Carter Bublitz was down, playing in the Colt World Series. So both of those guys obviously have strong arms and are good athletes, and so they've both been showing up and putting in the work, and both have done a really nice job of grasping all the new offensive concepts that we're bringing, because that's the tough part. It's a new offense, new defense. A lot of kids are going to be playing both ways, and so whole new system to learn on both sides, and those 2 have done a really good job with it.
Obviously, wins and losses are very important, but I'm certain one of your goals is to see a lot of seats being filled in this stadium once again. Yeah,
and I think that we've had tremendous momentum, ever since the hires kind of been announced, and people are just excited and want to see it get back to what it was back in its heyday, and so. It won't happen overnight, but there's certainly a lot to be excited about, and the guys are bought in and they're working hard, and so we look forward to those first couple weeks when we're playing at home to have great home support and people coming to see all that hard work pay off for the guys.
Slogan has been, it's a great day to be a Wolf. Coach, it's been an absolute pleasure. We are excited about the possibilities and can't wait for fall.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Founded in 2011, Renew Physical Therapy has quickly become the Great Lakes Bay region's fastest growing patient-centered physical therapy and rehabilitation specialists. With 16 locations to serve you, our friendly, highly qualified staff of physical, occupational, and massage therapists take great pride in offering one-on-one treatments through customized plans to help you achieve the best possible outcome for your health. Our offices accept most major insurances and are well-versed in navigating the complexities of insurance policies, ensuring you receive the coverage and benefits you deserve. Visit our website at renewpt.com to request your appointment today.
Hi again, everybody. Mike Wisdell here on Bay County TV. We got a special interview today. The head coach for the Bay City Academy Lumberjacks, it's Rob McDaniels. And Rob, welcome to the show and welcome to Bay City, and congratulations on the new job.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here.
We're glad you're here. So just want to talk to you a little bit about, Rob, what have been some of the challenges that you've seen so far with, it's a first-year program. What have been some of the challenges that you've seen and some of the successes that you've had so far?
I think the biggest challenge we've had has been the confidence of the kids. I have one coming in senior that has had 2 starts, and everybody else at the varsity level has not had one. So building that confidence up, and since we've been doing team camps for July, a lot of the kids have now started to separate themselves, and you're starting to see some athleticism, and trying to put them in places is going to be the biggest, probably the biggest hurdle, is make sure everybody is in the right spot. But as far as the team camp, we've had great participation, and the kids are really buying into everything. We're making big strides.
Well, and looking at your resume, Coach, and I'm going to let you talk about that. This is not your first rodeo at the varsity level. You've had some great success at other schools. So let the people of Bay City and Bay County know where you came from and what you've done to get to the Bay City Academy.
I came from Yale, is where I first started coaching football at the lower levels. Moved up to Peck, started off at Peck as 8-man or 11-man for a year, and then the school changed to 8-man. So they just asked me, if we go 8-man, will you still coach? And I just told them, it's blocking and tackling is the same no matter what you have out there. So right away we had some success. We were 7-2 the first year. Second year we went 13-0, won a state title, and followed that up with 12 more wins the next year. But we didn't quite make it there. We got to the end. But overall, we've had great success at Peck. We've had great participation at Peck. And a lot of that goes to the support of the administration. And they have been absolutely wonderful up the whole time there. It was actually tough to move, tough to leave. I find that with Bay City Academy, I find a lot of that similarity. The great support we've had so far. They've had a couple of great mottos. Biggest one is no obstacles, no excuses. And no matter what I've come up with so far, or different things that we need to do, administration here has just been forthcoming, make sure I have everything I need, make sure the kids have everything they need, and it's been a special time here. It really has. Well,
it's important that you have, the top administration supporting you. And we were just talking before we came on the air. Got a great new, got a great logo. You got some great gear, great equipment, and I know that we watched some of these kids play at All Saints the last few years, and really enjoyed watching those kids. And I know you're going to have great success over here at Bay City Academy. With that thought, you came from Peck. I think you did a little time at Carroll. What was the transition like for you from 11-man to 8-man?
I started off coaching 11-man for 10 years down at Yale. I took basic offense that we ran there, and the toughest part was changing that to an 8-man process. So you lose your fullback and you lose 2 tackles. So I took the double wing offense, which I've ran for years, and I was able to manipulate that into what we do now. And I just have to use the quarterback has to be an athlete, because he is now my fullback as well.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, they've bought into this really well here. And I can see a lot of success coming just based on the kids' efforts and how they're picking things up, and they're executing what we're doing very well.
Well, and looking at the schedule, Coach, you're going to be playing some familiar teams. You got All Great, Carsonville, Woodamore, Akron, Fir Grove. You got that local game against the Bay City All Saints Cougars. So we can start calling that a rivalry game with the Cougars for the Bay City Academy.
The kids are excited about that game.
I'm sure they are.
We got 5 weeks to get there, and I'm focusing them in on, we have All Great first. I've played All Great in the past, and the nice part about this league that we're in is I'm pretty familiar with everybody. I've actually played every team that we have in one way or another over the years.
Yeah, it's a good looking schedule, Coach, and we on Bay County TV, I think we have you a couple times this year, if I'm not mistaken. I know we have you for the Bay City All Saints game, so we're going to cover that new rivalry here in Bay County. But I just want to say, from all of us at Bay County TV, and I'm sure everybody in the area, we want to wish you nothing but the best of luck. Have a great season. Thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely.
And we appreciate taking time out of your day. It's right around the corner, so
countdown.
Countdown is on. So, Coach, thanks again. That's all for now. We'll be right back right here on Bay County TV.
Looking for a place where good food, cold drinks, and great times come together? Head to Coonan's Irish Hub in Bay City, serving up hearty pub favorites, homemade Irish classics, and 24 craft beers on tap. Catch the game, enjoy some great music, and make yourself at home with the friendliest crew in town. Whether it's dinner with the family or a night out with friends, there's always a little bit of Ireland waiting for you at Coonan's Irish Hub.
Hi again, everybody, and welcome back to Bay County TV. Mike Wisdell along with you, and we've got a very special guest on our Coach's preseason show. We're here at the St. Stan's Complex, home of the Bay City All Saints Cougars, and their head football coach, Eric Gust. And Eric, good to see you, and welcome back to the show. I know you're excited for the season to start.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And like every coach says, this thing started way back in December.
So let's go back to December, Coach. How was the off season from December? Here we are in early August. How are things going with the football team?
Well, I mean, we like to take that break, give them 30 days off, so to speak, and then we ramp it up after the first of the year or whatever. But I don't have my banquet till the first weekend of December because I always want to go ahead and wait around for all the awards for the kids, acknowledge them.
Yep.
But yeah, we give about a month off, and then we start into our off-season workouts, which involve all your weightlifting workouts, and then we advance into the summer months where we get into our speed and agility training.
Very good. Let's talk about numbers. As many of you know, and if you haven't seen an 8-man football game, you got to come out and see 8-man. It's an absolute riot. A lot of fast, lots of scoring. So let's talk about the numbers. How are the numbers this year for the Cougars?
Numbers are decent. We're probably going to be sitting around 18, and going back to my 11-man days, especially being here.
Yeah.
That number, great numbers for Bay City All Saints.
Yeah.
So 18 is a tremendous amount of kids for 8-man. That saying, I still want to make sure that we can platoon and get everyone else to play, because why do we do it? Yeah, we do it to win, but there's that big important word that you better have some fun while you're doing it.
And football is a fun game too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's go back to a little bit last year. You had some kids that were 4-year starters, and they have all graduated. So I think with that situation with Jack Wetters gone and Bo Williams, the mentality is next guy up, if I can say so, if you would agree with that.
I do, and what's nice about our group coming up, when you got 11 seniors, so we're going to 4-year players basically, and that's something that you don't usually get on a squad. You're lucky to get that 4 or 5. But yeah, we with Jack and Bo, even Drew at center.
Yep.
Them are tremendous shoes to fill. Don't get me wrong. We got some that can go ahead and fill them as well.
Yeah.
They're standing by. But and what's nice about that is, instead of having your 2 or 3 players that are going to dominate the game, we're probably going to have 4 or 5 or 6 of them.
Having 11 seniors is a really, really nice thing. They've been through varsity football. They know the trials, the tribulations. The schedule looks fairly similar to what you're used to. Got some really good, tough opponents on there. And then you're going to have a new team in there. And so the Cougars, with that experience and with the good coaching staff that you have, you're expecting pretty good things this year for the 2026 Cougars.
All around, yeah. I mean, yeah, our schedule is a good schedule to have. We started off with Hale, and then we end with Breckenridge, and then everything else in between is going to be our conference type of thing. But are we looking excited? Are we looking forward to it? Absolutely. Looking at maybe, hopefully, I don't like to go ahead and speak ahead. But yeah, we're looking for a conference championship, and having 4 in a row would be definitely a good thing to have for our program.
Yeah, that's an impressive stat. If you can go 4 conference championships in a row, not too many people can say that, but that takes a lot of work, a lot of dedication. And I also noticed this summer, Coach, that your kids were doing some things off the football field, helping out here at the St. Stan's picnic and things. So, and I noticed a lot of teams are doing that. They're getting out in the community and doing a lot of work.
And that's something we've always done. We're hand in hand with St. Stan's with the festival. Obviously they take good care of us here.
Yep.
So we support them just as much as they support us. But I think it's very important that yeah, it's football,
but what you do out in that community means a heck of a lot more than what football does. And you know, and that's why, like, going back to our off season, you know, talking to our captains and stuff like that, what is going to be our motto, you know? And we always talk about being good, you know, being good. And I started thinking, and I said, what about being bad? And we're like, Coach, what the heck is that, being bad? I said, well, believe, achieve, and dominate, because them are the three things that we're going to have to do. So I said, be bad. And, you know, it's kind of oxymoron type of thing.
You got me little goosebumps going there, Coach.
So anyway, and the first thing, so we made up the T-shirts, you know, for the kids and stuff like that, and hopefully, you know, they ring that bell, you know, for every game, and even our practices, you know, I want them to change a little bit, you know, and I'm like a sponge, you know, where I ever go, you know, for college football or whatever, and I live over by Northwood, so I'm constantly walking my dog over there, and they invite me over to practices and stuff like that. They know it's me, you know, when I'm coming, you know, so
they know the dog.
So, yeah, they know the dog. Here he comes again, you know, what's he going to steal from us, you know? But just looking at some of the tempo that they had over there, because they're excited for practice, and I said, you know what, we need to do that here going into this season.
Well, you know, and you and I have coached together, and we've coached a long time. Coaches are sponges, and there's really nothing better than sitting down with another coach from another program and picking his brain, because we all just like to give each other the information, and we're not stealing it. We just want to, hey, maybe it's not right for us, but we like to try it. So I know that's what you're doing with the other coaches.
Oh, absolutely, you know, and there's some things that they obviously know better than I. So let's admit it, you know, and it's just going to go ahead and benefit, you know. But, you know, and I have good coaches on staff too.
Yeah, you do.
You know, and Jason Brzezinski is my offensive coordinator. Jay Essex is my defensive coordinator, and he does our special teams. And then I got, you know, our volunteer and our assistants is, you know, coaches that are volunteering their time as well, you know, putting their couple days in what they can. But we all know with coaching football or any sport that it doesn't pay, you know, so you better have the love of the game for what you do.
You're not going to get rich off of coaching.
No, it costs me every day I come here.
And I remember those days. And don't forget, folks, they got the best French fries in Bay County here.
They do.
That's why we like come in here. We love watching your football games, and they feed us really well when we come here.
Well, a lot of fun, a lot of history, going back to the days that you and I were coaching, you know, and I can remember, you know, the big blue bus, you know, that we had, breaking down every single time. I remember coming back from Lincoln, Alcona, Coach Herrick was driving the bus, and I was operating the accelerator because it busted, you know, so we're pulling on the cable to go ahead and get home type of stuff, you know, but that's just the things that, you know, we're used to, you know.
It does happen. It
never shocked any one of us, you know.
No, it does happen. Well, listen, Coach, thanks so much. I know you're real busy this time of year, but we appreciate you coming out.
Appreciate you, Mike.
We wish you nothing but the best of luck here in 2026. We'll see you a couple times on Bay County TV, so good luck with the Cougars, and we'll be right back with more right here on Bay County TV.
Saginaw Spirit fans, the wait is over. Season tickets are now available for another exciting season of Spirit hockey. Get ready for hard hits, big goals, and unforgettable nights at the Dow Event Center. Can't commit to the whole season? Single game tickets go on sale August 17th. Get your tickets early and secure your spot for all the action. Visit chl.ca/OHL-Spirit to get your tickets today.
Well, good afternoon and welcome back. Jeff Doan and Mike Wisdala. We have had the last 3 days total excitement and joy, as you can just feel the excitement and the energy from all 7 of our interviews.
You really can. They're chomping at the bit, Jeff. You know, there's that little bit of a dead period before the season starts. But man, when that season starts, it is go, go, go. These guys are fired up. Their kids are fired up. They're ready to put on the pads and the helmets and get ready for what I think is going to be a really good football season.
Well, a couple of great additions this year, aside from the new coaches, are a couple of new weight rooms, and that's at John Glenn and Bay City Central to really get those kids excited about new and fresh and spread out.
Well, it's not. It's a 365-day-a-year sport now, Jeff, and they do have dead periods and stuff where you can't really do anything. But if you're not playing a winter sport, you're going to be in the weight room and doing the lifting there. And if you're not in spring sports, you're going to be lifting. It's a year-round sport now, like many of the high school sports are, Jeff. A lot of them are, they're lifting year-round. If you're not playing a certain sport, you're going to be in the weight room and doing a lot of things to get bigger, stronger, and faster.
Well, I've got it up on my phone before it disappears. We're going to go over our football schedule for the fall. Very excited when we put this together. We're going to start with Flint versus Bay City Central and the beginning of the Mark Jarsfer era at Bay City Central.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, Jeff. He's got a state championship under his belt at Gladwin. Been watching what he's doing off season. The kids are excited. The weight room is packed. I'm really looking forward to game number 1 against Carmen Ainsworth and the Bay City Central Wolves.
Well, then you got the crosstown rivalries in week 2 with Garber and John Glenn, and we know what that's all about.
Well, you know what? If you want to go out and watch a good football game, that two teams that really go after each other out at that beautiful John Glenn complex, check out Garber and John Glenn on week 2. That's going to be a good football game also.
Well, week number 3, Midland at Bay City Western. I love this matchup because Coach Frederick goes from Bay City Central to the staff at Midland High, and his son Bo is also playing for Midland. So maybe a little incentive for them at Midland and also the Bay City schools playing against and coaching against.
You are absolutely correct, Jeff. And anytime you get a Midland team against a Bay City team, whether it's Bay City Western or Bay City Central, that rivalry is really heated. Always a good football game out at the cornfield.
Week 4 is Farwell at Pinconning. The Coach LeGros era starts, and when we talked to him a couple of days ago, he says, last year there's games where they may have thrown the ball 12 times a game in Pinconning. He says, we may throw 12 times in one quarter this year. So their 7-on-7s have really been fun and exciting, and they're really flinging the ball around, and they got a quarterback that might be able to make that happen.
So the era 3 yards in the cloud of dust at Pinconning is in the rearview mirror, and but that's good. A little different look and a good Jack Pine conference for the Pinconning area Spartans to start off in game 4.
Week 5, Mayo over at Bay City All Saints, and the Cougars with 11 seniors coming back should have another great football campaign.
Great tradition up at Mayo, as you and I well know, Jeff, from our days at WKJC. We used to go up there and watch the Thunderbolts. They'll bring a lot of good kids. They'll hit hard. Be a good test for Bay City All Saints.
Week 6 is the start of a new tradition, the Bay City Academy at Bay City All Saints, and it's 8-man brand of football, but I am really looking forward to this matchup.
League game also, too, Jeff. They're in the same league, the Bay City Academy Lumberjacks against the Cougars right here at St. Stan's Athletic Complex. I'm looking for a really interesting game on week number 5 with the Lumberjacks and the Cougars.
Well, then we've got a big one. We've got Frankenmuth at Bay City John Glenn. And when I talked to Coach Horton, this is a game they've really put on their schedule and circled it, because if they are healthy, he says bigger, stronger, and faster. The stronger, they've done a ton of work on. They are quick enough. They're hoping to do some manhandling this year, and Frankenmuth will be that target.
Well, and Frankenmuth's going to be good. They're good every year, but it's going to be a good test for the Frankenmuth Eagles coming over to John Glenn and playing over on their field late. It's going to be late in the year, but I'm looking for big things from John Glenn, and I might even sniff an upset over there between Frankenmuth and John Glenn.
The boys on Bay County TV would consider that a great pleasure.
Yes, we would.
Week number 8, we've got Caro at Garber, and that is another game where Garber should be enough into the season, and I think they got a real good chance to beat the Caro Tigers in week 8.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a real good game. Could be an important game down the stretch, whether you're going to make the playoffs or not, depending on how the seasons go. But I think the Dukes and Caro will be a really good game, and hopefully the Dukes can come out of that with a big win.
I wonder where we might be going in week number 9.
Let me think.
Central at Western, and that game, both coaches are hoping that there are playoff implications on the line in week number 9.
high energy coaches, high energy game. You just never know what's going to happen. This year it's out at the cornfield. We love going out there and watching. It's always intense. The rivalry, I've coached in that before, Jeff. It's a great rivalry. The kids respect each other, coaches respect each other. The administrators go at each other a little bit, but it's always a lot of fun to see a lot of our friends at the Western Central game.
Well, and when I look at that real quick, I go, a lot of these kids from both schools play in the Pony League World Series and the Colt League World Series. So off the field, they're very friendly and familiar with each other. But once you hear the snap of that chin strap, everything changes.
It's either they're between the lines on the basketball court or in the swimming pool or on the football field, softball, baseball diamond. You could put cornhole out here and it would be
competitive.
Very, very competitive. So we always like to end the season with that rivalry. And I think, Jeff, we put together 9 really, really good football games this year.
Before we end, would be remiss to not thank our great sponsors for this year.
We've grown a little bit this year. We got some more sponsors. We got some of the old guard coming back, and we've got some new ones. And we're going to say big thanks to all of you for stepping on board for 26 and 27. Great sponsors this year. And Jeff and I and Nick can't say enough. Thank you for pitching in this year. We couldn't do it without you.
So as we just summarize real quickly the last 3 days that we've gone out and talked to these coaches, great excitement abounds, and that should look for a great and exciting, fun-filled fall of football.
You could feel it when you walked in and started talking to them off camera. They're ready to go. They're fired up. They're ready to go. And this is a good week, the week before, and you're just getting mentally prepared, because as soon as that first day comes, man, it goes by like that too. It takes a long time to get here, but that season is poof and it's gone.
There's something special about fall air and the crispness and football and the sound of the pads popping. We could talk all day long, but our producer is telling us we're ready to go.
Did we get a little lengthy for the first show?
There's just so many more things we could say, but that about puts the wraps. Partner, I am so excited about this fall and back for, I believe, year number 31 together.
It's hard to believe, but it's been an honor and a privilege sitting to your right for all these years, and I'm looking for another great sports year here in Bay County.
That about puts the wraps on our Covenant Healthcare sponsored preseason special. Oh, we look forward to seeing you for all 9 weeks of the regular season right here on BCTV.
We'll see you for the first game.